Subscribers, followers, and I just want to make a quick video, doesn't really mean anything anymore. And it sounds weird to think about because, back then, back in 2016 or 2015, the amount of subscribers shows, people subscribing, right? But nowadays, there are literally so much content creators and so much other people to the point where subscribers or even followers on Instagram or TikTok doesn't feel like it's anything. Like everyone follows each other nowadays, right? Like it's literally what it is, right? Like you could like just make a TikTok short or Instagram or something, right? And or TikTok shorts, Instagram, whatever, and then you could get like 1,000 followers out of nowhere. Boom, right? It's weird to think about, right? The entire social media has changed in the past 10 years, and I've seen a lot of people, and I used to think this too to myself. Like I used to think like it hasn't changed a lot, right? It's just the same old content and stuff like that. But the thing is, a lot of things in social media really change. Like even when it comes with the people that you follow. Like again, if you look back then, how much people did you follow back then? 10, 20, 30 people maybe? Like I'm being serious. Like most people would probably at least follow between 10 to 30 people. Now it's common to follow almost 2,000 people out of nowhere. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, most of these people are content creators that nobody ever heard of, that they actually have millions of followers and people follow them. It is actually crazy to see social media thriving and social media to do all of this, right? And the thing is, I've kind of predicted this a long time ago, how social media will kind of become a little bit more common in our lives. But more importantly, I did also predict that a lot of people would end up going to this way where, social media will have a lot of like giant content creators and stuff like this, because the reality when it comes with social media isn't about going ahead and being the top of the top or something like this. The thing about social media, and then this is like when you become somewhat of an influencer, and this is my definition of it, is when you just start impacting people's lives. I'm not talking about one or two lives. I'm talking about hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people's lives, right? Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like really high up there. And the crazy part is nowadays people can do that, right? You could literally be walking by, in front of a Nike's area, and a guy behind you could be an influencer and you would never know about it, right? You would be like, huh, this guy's an influencer? I didn't know. Pretty cool. Like, and that's actually pretty crazy to think about it. And even like even as a younger person, like a lot of people want to know about it. Like most common people everyone know would be like Lacey or, a Jinxie or someone like that. We're talking about the top of the top, right? People who have like 10 million, 100 million followers in total, something crazy. But like people also don't understand, like people even have 1 million followers or something like that. Some people will never find out that they're influencers at all or whatsoever. And it's crazy. Actually, that is crazy to think about. And I think that's the thing about social media is, when it comes with, I guess, influencing and stuff like this, a lot of times people will never, like I said, find out anything, and that's because it has literally grown in such a large audience in such a way to the point where everybody is using it. I think later on, in the future, we're gonna have a scale of influencers, someone between the bottom, like me, right, but also someone between the middle, the top, and like the top of the top. You get what I'm saying? And that's what we're seeing right now. People who are in the middle or the top, a lot of times people don't even know about, right? People who are like 10 million followers, nobody would know about. And the crazy part is, I literally discovered a content creator. I don't know his name. I'm pretty sure he was like an actor in One Piece. He looks exactly like him. I literally discovered him, and he has like I think time of recording this, 9 million followers, 10 million. I don't know. I haven't seen his content for a long time, but I literally discovered him, and people's like, wait a minute. These people are famous? What? And that's the reality when it comes with influencers on social media. A lot of times you could just walk out like a normal person. Nobody would ever know you're famous. I think in the next 10, 20 years, even like younger generations, it will go to the point where you could just walk out and be like, this guy is important. What? And like back then, when you look at it, there were so little content creators. You would know everybody. Everyone know in my generation knows who Popular MMOs is because there were very little people. Everybody who knew PewDiePie is. IMJ Station. You remember him? Obviously, he has a lot of controversial stuff. But even then, he was popular back then. You could probably know like literally Logan Paul or Jake Paul. Everyone knew who they were because there were very little amount of them. And I think that's the craziest part. I think also that's kind of like the beauty of content creation is you can be famous and kind of successful in your own part of way, right? Where I think the redefinition of fame is kind of switching up a little bit. Instead of everybody knowing you, like literally throughout the entire world, fame could probably be something like 1 million people who knew you, or like 2 or 3, right? Not everybody, but like you could probably have a large amount of audience and you could technically be somewhat famous in that section. But it's also kind of really weird to think about because even if you have like 1 million or 2, or like let's say 500,000 followers or something, that is not fame anymore. And that's the craziest part about it, where social media really changed the factors of what it means to like literally become famous, what does it mean to become rich, what does it mean to become all these things. It literally stepped up to the point where fame now you need to have at least 100 million followers in almost every single platform and everybody knowing your voice and all of that stuff. And that's the most craziest part about social media. It really does like redefine a lot of things. And that's because social media is kind of, I guess, built like that. Because the thing is when it comes with people like to redefine and literally redefinition, like have literally like you could probably, be used to this word for a second and all of a sudden this word is wrong, or you know what I'm saying, this or that or the third, right? Because people tend to kind of change a lot, right? And when it comes with all these stuff. But the thing is, what came the normal back in 2010, right? Now in 2020, 2030, 2040, whenever you're seeing this, things are changing rapidly. And that's literally because of human nature. Human nature does this, right? Where, human nature likes to change a lot. And human nature likes to do a lot of these things. But more importantly, at this point, it's not about human nature. At this point, it's more about the numbers, right? And when you see social media, when you see a lot of these things, out of 8 billion people, of course, 1 million is not going to consider you famous. This is actually common sense, right? Where now people who literally have 3-4 million followers are not considered these types of people anymore, but more of like average type social media. And this is why I say followers or subscribers don't really matter. And that's because the numbers really hit to the very, very top, right? I'm talking to the top of the top, because at this point, we're not talking about, wow, you have 1 million subscribers. Nowadays, if you say that to somebody, sure, it's cool. But at the end of the day, it's not as much as 8 billion people, right? You could literally see it, people who have 100 million followers, 200, right? And I feel like later on in the future, the more that we use social media, people who have 1 million, 2, 3, it's just going to become the normal. It really is going to become the normal. And that's the craziest part to think about. Like, for example, Sensitive Society, if he was there back in 2010, 500,000 is considered like 5 million or something crazy like that, right? Or like back in 2010 or something. You look at it now, it just feels like it's a normal part of day. He could probably be making a living without you even knowing who the hell he is. That's literally how it is, right? And that's the kind of the beauty of social media. And that's what I like about social media, where, a lot of these numbers don't tend to matter. But more importantly, if you just like stick with it, have fun with it, you could practically earn an honest living no matter what. But overall, let me know what you think about social media. I personally really do generally love social media. I think social media has so much potential. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more than just, we're going to see a lot more than just people having, in the near future, 1 million followers, and that's normal, or that's, absolutely crazy. I think social media is literally defined, is going to define so much like things to the point where it's like, it's going to readjust, I guess, what it means to be like certain things, or let's say rich, poor, whatever. And it's weird to think about, right? And you could even like reimagine what homelessness is, right? Where homelessness is. Jeez, I cannot speak. I say this in every video now, but homelessness, right? The part where I say I can't speak. But anyways, when it comes to like homelessness, for example, right? Who knows? Maybe homelessness, Anyways, when it comes with, homelessness, it could be from living out to the street to literally having an apartment, right? And stuff like that. And that's because platforms like social media and stuff like this really is changing what it means to, I guess, be certain things. And I think we're literally just becoming connected as a society to the point where, people will discover hundreds of social media influencers without even realizing it. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about social media. Other than that, I really do enjoy social media. I've enjoyed it from day one. I've been around since literally 2010. I'm making videos ever since I was in 7th grade or something. So I really do enjoy social media, and I really do and I like to see where the platform heads next. And honestly, when it comes to subscribers and when it comes to a lot of these things, at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter because people's going to subscribe. People's just going to, what I'm saying, even come back. I think what really matters, in the next 10 or 20 years, who knows? How much of that general population knows you? And that's really what's going to define a lot of fame, right? And obviously, fame has been like this for such a long time. But if you also really think about it, social media is taking that to the next level of literally testing you by saying, okay, out of the 8 billion, how much people knows you? Or how much, you know what I'm saying? There's Chinese, Egyptian, African, literally every different race. There's hundreds of social media influencers out there, and you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And that's the craziest part, and that's what I do enjoy about social media. And I really did see this for a long time. And honestly, I know people will say this is a bad thing or something. I find this actually such a good thing because who knows? Maybe one day someone would be just living out. For example, Coulter 35 is an amazing example, right? He is one of one of the top people in my opinion, where I see him more as an influencer. Sure, he has very little numbers and very little followers, but he earns an honest living, and he earns that from YouTube, and it's pretty crazy to think about. And when I say little, it's not little. It's 800,000 followers, and you could be getting 100,000 views, in every single video or something crazy, right? I'm pretty sure now he gets 20 or 30K, but if you compare that back in 2010, that was impressive, seriously. But anyways, that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say. Other than that, make sure you like and subscribe. What do you think about social media? Do you like it or you dislike it? Anyways, that's pretty much it. Again, I'll see you guys later. And also, one more thing, let me know if you think subscribers matter. Other than that, that's it. Bye, guys.